I'm going to do another little decode on this August the 17th date and how it ties in with some day jumps. We're going to look at some day jumps with this date. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at some numbers that are in my chart of Lorraine. Okay. So I'll go to that in just 1 second, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, you'll just have to bear with me or go back and watch some previous videos and get yourself up to speed. I don't have time to re-explain everything before every video. So anyway, August the 17th, the 229th day of the year, 136 days remaining. There's potential for this date to have some kind of significant event happen on it. Okay. What I want to do though is I want to look at, so in the previous video I did the connection in the dollar bill, and in this video I'm going to do another little connection. It connects quite nicely to Back to the Future. Okay, the numbers what we're going to look at here though are my numbers out of my chart of Lorraine. Okay, and let's go to that so you can see where these numbers are coming from. So this is this chart of Lorraine. It's all built off of the golden ratio. Basically it's all built off of Fibonacci type sequences numbers, and this is the numbers line that's concerning us, which is Lucas numbers, a real thing. And we're looking at, if you can follow my cursor, from this 2 to 29. Okay, because August the 17th is the 229th day of the year, so we're going to look at just these numbers from 2 to 29. Okay, and when we do look at these numbers, you'll notice sideways here that we have this sort of cross. Okay, and I've just flipped it up in here. I've just flipped it up, so 29 is the top. Okay, 2 starts at the bottom and works up, okay, to 29. We don't need to be concerning with the arms really in this picture. We're really just concerned with this column, okay, because the column again represents physical man. But I just wanted to kind of put it in context, okay, of what it looks like from the chart. Now what we're doing is we're totaling up these numbers. We're adding 29, 18, 11, 7, 4, 3, 1, 2 together, okay, and that gives us a total of 75. Okay, so this total of 75 from 2 to 29 totals 75. Now if you remember with the dollar bill, okay, the dollar bill is 100, yes, and in the dollar bill there is reference to the quarter. Okay, there's a quarter code in the dollar bill. I believe I call it the quarter code because there's several jumps that are referenced in there, and or at least there's the idea of several jumps that are referenced in there. There's a couple of dates that fall in line with that quarter code in the dollar bill. The two that I'm thinking of are November the 30th. Okay, that is referenced in the dollar bill, and so too is 213. Okay, 213 right here that's one of our main dates in the dollar bill. So from that we can, along with the symbolism that's in the dollar bill, we can draw a conclusion that there's some dates in there that go in a 25-day sequence. Okay, but the important thing to remember is that the dollar bill is pointing towards the actually 25 cents as well. Okay, it's actually pointing to that coin with the way the two portrait, I call them portrait picture frames, that are in the bottom corners of that $1 bill. The way those things are put there is to tell us think quarter. Okay, right, anyway, with that all being said, that's really probably lost a lot of people now. We have this 75-day total here for all these added up, right? Which means we're 25 days short. Okay, we're 25 days short of the completion, which is $1. Yeah, 100 pennies equals $1, 100 cents equals $1, and we're 25 cents short. Now, what's interesting is when let's go to let's go to a different table here, and I'll show you what I want to go to. Let me show you something now. I think it was this one. Yeah, okay, save or don't save, doesn't matter. Okay, when we go from August, I've got all these jumps down on here now. So, okay, so don't get overwhelmed straight away. We've got August the 17th in the middle here, the 187 number, okay? And when we do our 25-day jump, it takes us to 9/11, all right? That's super significant, in my opinion. These things are separated by a quarter. And I don't know if you noticed on that last that last diagram that I had, but the 18th of August, the day after this, begins the last quarter of the lunar cycle that's taken place in August. So that's just an interesting tie-in as well, that the last quarter for the moon cycle starts basically after this day. You know, we move into the last quarter after this day. Again, interesting. Okay, we can do one more 25-day jump from this day, and we can go back 25 days. And guess where, if we go back 25 days, takes us? It takes us to 237. Okay, you remember room 237? This thing, room 237. This thing actually. Okay, the bathroom again, room 237. Well, this is the bathroom in room 237. This is where Jack sees the, if I'm remembering the film right, it's been a while since I've seen it. This is where Jack sees the, what looks to be the attractive, naked, attractive goddess type figure. But when he interacts with that thing, it's not what he thinks. It turns out to be the old hag. Okay, and that's exactly what the reference is there. The reference is to we engage with the fictions we create. It looks good to begin with, it's enticing, but what actually happens is it becomes corrupted, and it's a pretty nasty thing in the end. Okay, that's the reference. But that being said, room 237. All right, we're back to The Shining. We're back to you know, references that just tie in all over the place. The one major reference for that film is the River of Blood. Okay, the River of Blood is the Colorado River, and that runs right into the dam. Okay, that's what creates Lake Mead. Okay, and that is what is stopped up by the Hoover Dam. So anyway, that was interesting. I'll tell you something else that was interesting when we look at jumps. Okay, in Back to the Future, we have and I'm going to go back to the Future in a minute with this 25. Okay, but what I want to do is I just want to maybe I should stick on that for a minute. Actually, what I want to do is I want to go back and show you this one first. I want to do the 88 days. Okay, because when Doc is talking to Marty, when he's first shown him the DeLorean, the time machine, there's the reference of when this baby hits 88 miles an hour, you're going to see some serious shite. Okay, so again, the shite reference, the toilet reference again. Okay, I don't know how many times the toilet reference comes up. It comes up tons in Back to the Future. In fact, Back to the Future 2, there's a reference when he's in the diner talking to old Biff, and he says, you know, your old man. So he's actually talking to Marty, and he's referring to Marty. Your old man, you know, the guy that flushed his life down the toilet. It shows up just all over, when you start looking for it, it just shows up all over the place. Anyway, he says when this baby hits 88 miles an hour, you're going to see some serious shite. Okay, so here's the toilet. This is where Washington's head is, in the toilet right here. Here's our 88 miles an hour, okay, and the baby, okay, well the baby is, let's look at this day here, we've got the 25 in it, okay, and we've also got the 12 in it, so can you figure out what this is referencing here? Okay, this is referencing Christmas, okay. Now that also shows up in the quarter code in the dollar bill. Let's just run through that real quick. The 5th of November, the 30th, so we go from remember the 5th of November to the 30th of November, the Great Scott, St. Andrew's Day. Then we get to, so this is the cross this way, yeah, for the fiction. And then we get to Christmas, which is this way. Okay, so we're going remember, and then we're at Great Scott, then we're at Christmas, then we're at 9/11, which is the 19th of January, and then we're at 213, okay, 13th of February, and that's our 25-day jumps, which gives us $1, okay, and these are the ones that we can kind of get from the dollar bill. All right, this is in the dollar bill. This is in the dollar bill, and actually this is in the dollar bill, but you have to kind of work at it to get it. Okay, you have to do this pairs up with 666. So the 155 code or day jump that's in the dollar bill pairs up to give you this as well. Okay, now but again, you can see the 521 here and the 521 here, right, in these numbers. Okay, so a reference to Christmas, a reference to the baby. When this baby hits 88 miles an hour, we're going to see some shite. This is the toilet here. Okay, what else? The plumbing. And of course, it's the reason why that's so important, and the bathroom is so important. It's all to do with water. Okay, and being in the merchant system. That's the thing that controls your life. Not to mention the place where you get flushed. So many references. Anyway, this was our dollar bill decode, the last video. Yeah, the 185-day jump from 213, from this day down here, and the start of the whole sequence to this day, and then the 85. And so these two numbers are on the dollar bill, and then that takes us to Pi Day. Okay, 10/11 for the people that don't know what the hell this symbol's supposed to mean here. The 10th of November. I thought it would be interesting to do the 85 day, what the 85 days backwards would be. Okay, and that takes us to the 24th of May. And the interesting thing that happened on the 24th of May was the Rob event, the Rob shooting. And what I want to say about that is, again, Rob and Bob, okay, 80. So Bob here with the, I can't write with this mouse, is terrible. It's a brand new mouse, but I'm just all over the place with it. Here's Bob, okay. So you can see our 88 here, yeah. Get rid of the 0. Bob is a reference to 88, yeah. Showed up in the new Top Gun Maverick, okay. They had one of the pilots was Bob. Another reference back to this 88, okay. And so we have a reference on this date for 88 again. We have, and I mean the whole idea of Rob as well. I mean, it just makes me think of Back to the Future again with Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale writing the thing. I mean, where does the Bob also show up? August the 17th, Robert De Niro, yeah, back with the dollar bill again with De Niro for the dollar, and Rob again, okay, and Robert De Niro is born on the 17th of August. So we can kind of go around in circles with the references. What I want to do though, before I get onto some of the birthdays and some of the other references, is I want to just pick up on this 25 again, because this shows up when Marty is late for school. The clocks at the start of, and if you look at the clocks, you'll notice that we have this encoded on the clocks as Marty goes into Doc's, into the lab, into the workshop or the garage. All those clocks that are set, look how many times you can pick that out on those clocks, and it's quite a lot, because that the hand is between the 8 and the 7 and pointing up to around, well, at least there's one or two anyway, pointing up towards the ones as well. Okay, so this is encoded in those clocks. We have Marty being 25 minutes late for school because all the clocks are 25 minutes late. Doc's experiment worked. And there's also another place where this pops up, and it's quite a significant place because it's in Back to the Future 2, and that is, of course, where the hoverboard scene is. And the hoverboard scene is all about the Hoover Dam and that thing being destroyed. The Hoover Dam is the clock tower, okay, and that's why we have that body of water there. And there's deeper references than that, but let's just go to, and I've got to save that for another video really, but I want to show you this 25 reference that's there, and then we'll move on from that probably. So when I'm watching this, this is just after Marty's gone into the water and Griff has crashed his and his buddies, the four horsemen, yeah, of the apocalypse. They've all crashed into the courthouse, okay. And I don't know if you've noticed, but the courthouse is now the Courthouse Mall, and it actually up on the courthouse it says mall as well on the big courthouse. This is like a little subway passage, and he goes into the water, so he has that baptism, yeah, and the front of the building is smashed up, which is symbolizing the Hoover Dam being broken, okay. And then he's birthed out of here. This is the Vesica Pisces where he's coming up out of right now, okay. What is interesting about this is, okay, the whole idea of mall as well with the MA, and right here it's kind of obscured, and boy, if you put this in a smaller screen, and I don't know if you play it, it kind of looks like Mary written here. But the thing about mall is again, MA means Mary, and also we have the double L. We have the two L's returning, yeah. So in this scene anyway, we have the Mary with the two L's, okay. So again, the 9/11, the no 11, no L even, yeah. The even, that represents God when we call it 11, I guess, when the L's are even, when the two sides of reality are in balance, okay. We're as God would be, yeah. And so 11 represents God as well within my chart as well. So without getting too wiffly waffly, we have the MA with the double L again, okay. We have that thing back together, so we have the Holy Spirit again. But what's interesting about this is this looks like it says 25 here. Whenever I saw it before, I thought, that says 25, Well, I caught this guy every once in a while. I catch one of his videos. I don't necessarily agree with his findings, or at least his interpretation on some of the stuff. But he has some interesting things that he picks out. It's like a lot of channels that I watch, interesting stuff that he's picked out. And he happened to blow that picture up, and you can actually see what number it is, okay? And it's actually 75, which I thought, when I saw that on that video, I'm like, oh my lord, that's actually a 75 there, not a 25. Or at least it looks like 75 on this blowed up image of it. And again, why 75 underground shops? Why 75? I mean, the only thing that I can notice that it ties to is back to this. Is back to the, well, I don't have it up now, but back to that 75 total from between 2 and 29. So that I thought was interesting. Again, I mean, let me just go back to this table here. So that 75, which is right here, through these numbers right here. Also, the interesting thing about 75 is we go in reverse right here, this 157, which happens to be half a pi. Okay, so 157, and you can see the 75 in reverse there. So that also ties back in with pi slightly. You can kind of fudge that to tie back into pi, the 75. There was one other thing I wanted to mention, because this is important, the way this all ties back to the 25th, yeah? Because the 25th is Jesus' birthday, right? And we can do one more, I've mentioned this in an old video somewhere, but you can total, if you take this as the birthday, right? So you leave this off, right? So the 213 becomes the birthday, which is the 13th of Feb. So you just go to the 13th of Feb with this number, and then you total 4, 7, 11, 18, 29, 47, 67, and 123. If you total those numbers, you're going to get to 315. Okay. Now, 315 does show up in Back to the Future in a couple of spots as well. But if you go 315 days, right, from 213, it takes you to Christmas Day. That's just another interesting thing with the way these numbers total up. So having that total there of 75 is pretty, it's pretty significant, when we look at how you can do that other total there with the 315 and get to Christmas as well. So I don't know if people are starting to see the kind of significance of this stuff. And again, that 521, which is right here, re-references, okay, the 521 with the 88-day jump, we've got it re-references 2 and 13. It's the second row and the 13th column. I know I'm sounding like a broken record to people, but that's, this re-references 213 again, and 213 through the chart can get you back to Christmas again. Okay, so it's pretty interesting the way these numbers are kind of tying back in with one another. What more do I want to say? That I want to just go back to this thing as well, because that number, again, the significance of this thing here, the dartboard, and what's going on. Here we go with the 521. Okay, right here. Okay, and also they've bunged a 12 here, and we have the 25th of December. Okay, so these numbers up here are here for a reason, and then we're echoing the number of man here balanced. So it's very, very interesting. The top numbers at the top of the dartboard. Yeah. Again, here's our 119 right here, and here's our 718, and I'll do one more set of numbers in here which aren't written in, but if we remember the white wedding, and this actually becomes pretty relevant because there's a reference to the white wedding right before Marty, right when he's in the Cafe 80s, okay, when he first sees Biff, old man Biff in there is a mug on the windowsill where Biff is sitting, and I'm pretty sure that mug looks to me, now I mean I've got a fuzzy picture and I can't blow the thing up to look at it, but it looks to me like one of these royal occasion mugs, and I'm betting, even though it looks like it's only the back of it, I'm betting it is a Charles and Diana wedding mug. Cut to the other window as Marty is fighting with Griff now, just as he's about to leave the Cafe 80s. In the background in that windowsill is I'm pretty sure it's a Charles and Diana wedding photo. So we have the reference back to the White Wedding with Billy Idol, and the White Wedding is 29, okay, the 29th of July, and that date, I'm not gonna write it in, but is the 210th day of the year and 155 days remaining. Okay, so those are two important numbers, and if I apply, if I do a jump back or jump forwards, so if I jump back 210 days, it's going to take me to this day right here. Okay, and if I go forwards from this date 155 days, it's going to take me to this date right here. So it's interesting that I can apply what is the perfect hidden 187 number here, which I think I explained in the last video, because 29 is the sum of 11 and 18, and it's also individual reductions of those two numbers. And so we have a nice hidden 7, 11, and 18 right here, a nice hidden 187 number. And we can apply the days of the year, and we get back to this dartboard date here of the 19th of January, which is important because the dartboard date of the 19th of January is partnered up with this number here, the 187 again, and here's the 19th of January. So it's kind of nuts the way some of these things fit together, some of these little, and as I said before, I think I've said this before, this is the Space Needle right here, okay, and we've got 3 darts that are hitting this ring now, right here. This ring is the 25 ring. This is the bull. This is the bull ring. This is the ring of the bull. This is the corona, and we're right at 75 when we've got 3 darts hitting this thing. The 3 legs coming into this thing. We're right at 75. We need another 25 to get to the 100. Okay, and what we actually need to shoot is we need to shoot right in the center bull. It's right in the center eye. Okay, referenced with the female stooge with that's with Griff. She's got the red eye. Okay, that's where we need to get to. This is the wild bull here. This is the calm. The center bull is the calm, tranquil bull. Okay, the thing that's at peace, and being at peace means it's balanced. So this is the point where we need to get to, and they just had all that referencing in the Commonwealth Games. Again, I can't remember if I mentioned this or not before, but the Commonwealth Games, what the bull has anything to do with the British Empire and all that stuff, I do not know. Spain, yes, but Britain, not really. I mean, maybe somebody can. Where mad cow disease came from, I guess. And that's what we have with the corona around here. This is the mad cow, and then the center is the holy cow. Okay. The moon. What else do I want to say? I think that's going to cover it for this video. I really don't want to spend a whole bunch of time. Let's just talk briefly, very briefly, about some of the celebrities. So I just mentioned De Niro. Other interesting characters on the 17th of August, Sean Penn. The reason why he's interesting is because the previous day to this, and in fact, let's write it down up here, is the 16th. Okay, and so the 16th is a significant day because that is the eve. Okay, so the 16th is the eve, which is also the golden ratio, 1.618. So we have significance with the 16th. The eve is where you were dead. Okay, the eve simply represents, it's not woman, it's not women in general that are causing the problem or anything. People get so wrapped up in the literal translation rather than looking for the metaphor within. Eve just represents the ability to generate these ideas. Okay, so Eve is when you go into Eve, when you go into your fictional creations, that's when we start having problems. That's when you step out of natural law and nature and you step into the matrix. Okay, it's that simple. This is why going into Eve, yeah, man going into Eve, which is represented with the wiener, the phallus symbol, yeah, the pine going into Eve, yeah, twin pines. I don't know if anybody's ever said this before, but just anagram pines. It's penis, okay. The twin pines. It's just again, the phallus symbol is man, physical man, and when physical man goes into the fictional realm and starts making all his own stuff up, goes into Eve, yeah, that's when we have the problems, right? Only problem is people take it literally, and then they think that sex is somehow evil and yada yada yada, and sex suddenly becomes a sin within the church, but that's not what that means. Alright, it simply means when we go into our fictional ideas and generating these things that are that don't work in unison with nature, we have problems, right? But that's the Eve, and the important thing about the Eve is that's when you're dead. When you're in that system, you are dead. Okay, and the guy that dies on the toilet again on the 16th is Elvis. Yeah. Okay, so Elvis is the dam, anagram Elvis is the levy. Okay, so Elvis dies on the toilet on the 16th. Okay, 1977, and actually, if we go back to the 24th here, Priscilla Presley is born on the 24th. Priscilla Presley, again, the wife of the king. So many different ways of so many different references, and yeah, when you marry that thing, when you marry into that thing, you're dead as well. Okay, so it's just interesting the way these things are linking up here. With dates here, with Priscilla Presley's birthday, and we've got Elvis's death date the day before. Madonna is born this day as well on the 16th. So again, she represents the Matrix, and the man is dead when you're in this thing. Now, and again, the whole life story of Elvis. Look, he comes out of Memphis, out of the Valley of Kings, into another system, I guess. He goes into the false Nevada, or Nirvana in Nevada, right? And he goes into the place where the land of hotels. Okay, the Hot L. Yeah, the place where you stay away from home. The hotel is where you are not at home. Okay, again, back to The Shining. It's set in the hotel. Okay, the Hot L, or the Ho L. Okay, the Ho at the beginning of it, and the L at the end. Okay, and the T is stuck in the middle of that thing. Okay, the T is stuck in the middle of the Ho version of L. Yeah, the whore. Okay, I don't know if people are getting these kind of wordplay things, but it's pretty interesting. Anyway, who else on the 16th dies on the 16th? Babe Ruth dies on the 16th, and in fact, I think in 1955, if you look at the shops around the square there is a Ruth's shop somewhere on that square in 1955 in Back to the Future. So again, just little references. Birthdays, August the 17th. The big one is Davy Crockett. Davy Crockett is in Back to the Future when he shows up in 1955. We've got the Ballad of Davy Crockett playing. There's signs for the Ballad of Davy Crockett. I think with 100 tons as well, which is again another heavy reference. And his relations. Marty gets to meet his relations when he saves George from being run over, and again his uncle is wearing a Davy Crockett hat, you know, the raccoon hat thing. So there's Davy Crockett references. There's so much stuff. It's unbelievable. In fact, the 187, I'll tell you where the 187 shows up, and I'll probably do a video on it just to clarify it for people. But when Marty does go back to the future, and the lightning strikes, and the DeLorean shoots Back to the Future, right? I've shown before where the Western Auto Store with the 9, okay, when they pan that shot, the shot pans down, okay, and the line that's going across the Twin Towers there goes from that down to Doc's car, and Doc's car is Packard 8 or something like that. So we get the 8 reference there. We've got the line coming across. We've also got the pi reference, the symbol pi in that whole thing as well. And we've also got the 7 with the hook, which looks like a question mark. Again, the question mark, the who. The hook is hanging off the wire now, forming a 7. And then we've got the 2 fire trails. So we've got a 1 there as well. Okay, or you could even use one of the fire trails as a 7 as well. But we've got a 187 right there. We're pan from 911 to a 187, which is pretty nuts as well. I think I've covered everything. I can't think that there's anything else I wanted to really say about that. I really wanted to drum home the Elvis thing. Again, the 237, the room 237, and in the film, the courthouse has become, you know, when you look at that courthouse, I'll just waffle for 2 more seconds. Let's get a picture of the courthouse in the background. See, the courthouse is the brick color now, the copper color. So the courthouse here, which is what the dam is, yeah. The courthouse is the Venus right now, okay? The copper, the Venus, the thing that's attractive, okay? And that's what it looks like from the outside, yeah. But once you go into that thing, it becomes the whore. It becomes the corrupted timeline that Trump's in charge of, you know, that Biff's in charge of, where Hill Valley becomes Hell Valley. And, you know, again, we've got the mall written up here. I don't think I'd noticed that before. I mean, I'd noticed the little side thing with the mall, but I didn't notice they'd actually put it on here. But I'm dealing with a picture like this. You probably can't even see what I'm even pointing at here, but on the end of here, it's mall. And so, you know, this is what we are. You know, we go into this thing and we become consumers of it. And that's what we're consuming. You know, we're inside the mall consuming. And again, the melee, the mall, okay? And so, what was I going to say? We're consuming the Matrix here, and what actually needs to happen, okay, is we need to now consume God again. We need to consume the L, okay, and the L is the 7, and we need to, and if we're the 1, okay, we need to consume the 7. So 1 needs to consume the 7. So 1 needs to eat the 7. 187. Okay. Again, with the I get, is it number play or word play or what? It's word play with the numbers there. Okay. The 1 needs to eat, or 187. Okay. Pretty interesting. And you can anagram the word 8 back to tea. I like a nice cup of tea now and then, but there's the tea, you know, that's in the center there between those two things, the balance point again. I think that's it. I don't really want to go too much into explaining them all. Again, that guy, I mean, I might as well just do it very quickly. That guy was talking, there was a comment in that bit about him talking about them all, and he basically went to Pall Mall, which is an old game like croquet, and that's where the word mall comes from, okay, because they used to play it on a long, I guess looked a bit like a long like a road basically that was long and narrow, and I think there was some trees either side, and that's where they used to play the game. Now, whether it was on the road, on an actual road, or what, or on a street, maybe that's where it developed from. I don't know. I'm not even researching it, because what that mall is referencing, okay, yeah, that game, because Biff's about to bat, he says batter up, right, and that's what's going to happen, okay. The bat, which represents man again, is going to swing at this thing, which is the ball, the, the ball. Okay, that is the moon, the ball. Okay, and that is the womb again, and that is the dam. Okay, and what's at each end of the National Mall? The Washington Monument, the phallus symbol again, and then at the other end is the is what this thing is, the dam. Okay, the feminine, the spiritual thing. Okay, the temple represents the place where the spirit is. Yeah, up in the side of your head, the temple. This is the temple. Okay, this is the Lincoln Memorial at the other end of the Washington Memorial. So, or Washington Monument, sorry. And so that thing, as I've said in other videos, looks just like the Ark of the Covenant. Okay, there's 4 pillars on the Ark of the Covenant, one on each corner, and then sitting on the top of that are 2 winged angels, and that forms the ark between the front 2 columns of that thing that you can see as you look at it side on. If you took the winged angels off there and superimposed that thing on the Lincoln Memorial, that's what it would look like. And there's a reason why it's called the Lincoln, yeah, the link of the 2 columns, and that those 2 angels are linking those 2 things, okay, with their wings going across. And but if you go to the Hoover Dam, the 2 winged angels aren't going across to one another. They're just got their arms straight up, or the wings straight up, okay. And so those 2 winged angels, there is no arc there. There is no balance, is what it's saying. And that's what the dam is, yeah. Okay, the dam is the wall between you and God, basically. It's the God dam, okay, because you've been damned off from God. I don't know what, and it's all created in your head, you know. This thing up here is the thing that creates all that. All right, it's all fiction, yeah, and that's what's in the head of the dam, isn't it? The waters where the waters are contained is called the head. That's referred to as whatever head of water you have there. Okay, and that's where all the fictional ideas are generated. Okay, that Lake Mead is a metaphor for the containment of your mind, you know, and what that does is that separates you from God, if that makes sense. And that's the thing that's got to be, you know, released. You go head first and you're reborn. But that's the head of the dam, you know, and that's, you know, you have the dam, then you have the wall, which is the arms, and then you have the 2 legs sticking down, just a bit like the cross again. Anyway, I want to leave it there. I'm just waffling. So much symbolism, and just listen to me talking about it is probably pretty boring. I don't know if I've missed anybody's. There are a few more birthdays. I really don't want to spend a whole bunch of time doing a ton of birthdays. I could whiz down through these real quick, but I don't. I probably missed somebody out. Trying to think who I've missed out that's important. There's Powers, Spy Guy. There's De Niro. Oh, Larry Ellison, Oracle, that computer company, software company, or whatever the hell they do. But again, the Oracle, the predictor. There's Sean Penn. Madonna marries Sean Penn. A guy born on the 17th. She's born on the 16th. And then, of course, there's also Guy Ritchie, who she marries, and Guy Ritchie, the guy with Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. You know, the two smoking barrels. And that's really where I want to leave it for this. There's not really much point in going through all this. I've never heard of this guy, Little Pump, but you know, rapper. That is what is going to be needed, is a pump. What else do I want to say? I think that pretty much covers it. We've got Elvis dying. We've got Babe Ruth again. Make Baby Ruth in the Goonies. Yeah, Sloth, who's chained up by the baddies. Yeah, that's the same. That's the symbol for man there. You know, man has been chained up and corrupted. Yeah, by the system, by the Matrix, and he's got the Superman shirt on, but he's got to break three of those shackles. And um, Chunk gives him the Baby Ruth. I think it's a Baby Ruth. Anyway, um, I'm just going to call it Baby Ruth. What else to say? Not a lot. That's it for the video. Hope you enjoyed, and I hope I haven't missed anything out. Let's just go back to this very quickly. I don't think I've missed anything out of here. No. And yeah, let's just call it good. All right. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you on the next one. All right. Cheers. All right. Bye.